Okay, good morning, or afternoon, rather. Welcome to the Trade, Travel, and Tourism Committee. Chairman Buscaino. I'm joined by my colleagues, Mr. Bond and Mr. Krikorian. Today's Tuesday, November 7th. If I can turn your attention to today's agenda. So members, looking at the agenda, I'd like to take on consent 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'd like to call any of those special.
No objection.
Okay. Hearing none, we'll approve those items on consent.
Committee members, Mr. Chair, item 3 has a City Administrative Officer report submitted after publication of the agenda. Do you wish to approve that as part of your action today?
We'll approve it as amended, yes.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Okay, so with that, item number 4. Do we have any cards on item number 4? Do we have general public comment?
None.
Okay, well, let us close general public comment. Item number 4, do we have any cards on 4?
No, sir.
Okay, so with that, can you read item 4 into the record, please?
Item 4, communication from the Board of Airport Commissioners and CO report relative to Resolution 26355 for the Third Amendment to Terminal Commercial Management Concessions Agreement LAA A8613 with Westfield Airports LLC at LAX to add up to 30,000 square feet to the premises of concession space in the Midfield Satellite Concourse and related environmental finding.
Thank you, sir. So Debbie Bowers here?
Yes.
With the presentation. Thank you very much for
Yes.
being here.
So what this item does is add the non-duty-free concession space in the Midfield Satellite Concourse, MSC, which is an additional concourse to the Tom Bradley International Terminal, into the current terminal commercial manager, I'm used to acronyms, agreement consisting of Tom Bradley International Terminal and Terminal 2 with Westfield Airports. And the reason that we did that is MSC is another concourse of Tom Bradley, so we want to make sure that the program is cohesive, that the design is similar, and that the concepts are complementary to what is already in Tom Bradley. We have modified this agreement somewhat to address some concerns of our current concessionaires in Tom Bradley, and to expand, we hope, our ACDB program. So what we've allowed is that Westfield can do a modified competitive process, setting aside units for 3 categories. The category that just consists of bidders from the Tom Bradley International Terminal concessionaires, only ACDBE bidders, and then open to the market.
So they're carved out. There's some set aside for existing concessionaires.
Correct.
Got it.
And also, although we're adding 30,000 square feet of concession space and about 8,500 of food court seating space that Westfield will have to manage, they did not ask to increase their management fee, and they did not ask to get the tenant improvement deduction allowance that we have.
So there's some cost savings from the airport.
Yes. Absolutely. So
What's the total of the cost savings?
I don't.
Would you say?
I don't know that number.
So I'm assuming the main purpose of not going to RFP on the mid-course.
The Midfield Satellite,
Right.
MSC. It
Midfield,
really
rather.
is a part of the Tom Bradley International Concourse. So the traffic, the flights between the Tom Bradley and the Midfield will ebb and flow. So it's the same type of passenger base. So it's very important that, first of all, it doesn't cannibalize sales in Tom Bradley, the current concessionaires, but it still has the same theme, that you still feel like you're in our international terminal. And we think that having Westfield do the design and work with our builders, that will accomplish that.
And was it an agreement already that we approved a couple years back with Westfield that they would have responsibilities with the build out of the midfield as well?
It didn't get included because it wasn't included in the original RFP.
The original wasn't, okay.
Right. But we had been talking to them, and that has been the plan. But it requires an amendment to include them.
Got it. So again, what was the main reason why you didn't put the RFP out for the midfield?
Well, we did the first terminal commercial manager. The midfield wasn't really solidified of what we were going to do. We didn't really have any plans. It was still just a glint in the eyes of our planners, so we didn't include it.
Colleagues? Mr. Bonnet?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Fine with the item before us, but I had a sort of a general question about this and about concessions generally. The mayor has talked a lot about the need to make LAX feel more like Los Angeles. and the mayor and Commission President Burton and I have all talked about the need to make the airport more passenger friendly. And the three of us had been on the Asia Trade delegation trip a few years ago and saw the incredible passenger amenities that other airports have, sleeping areas, massage areas, children's play areas, more than we tend to have at the airport. Entertainment spaces where people waiting can see a musical performance or something like that. Do we have any of that in here, and how are we doing? And I know it's hard, given the 2012 agreement, in getting more of that built into the passenger experience at the terminals.
So the important part is having the space, and that's where that we're lacking, and that's why we've been looking. Deborah Flint has asked us to look at that also. The airport has built in 3 children's play area in midfield, so that's helpful, and we still have the big one in Tom Bradley International Terminal. Some of the other areas we're looking at that could possibly is a shared use lounge. It would help on the amenities. It would be a pay for use, but it would still be something that everyone could use. So that's another thing that we've been looking at, and trying to find niches of where we can put other amenities like a quiet area, yoga area, those kind of things.
Why would we do a paid use? We don't need to nickel and dime like the airlines do.
Well, it probably will be a contract with airlines because as we move the flights back and forth between Tibbet and Tom Bradley, the airlines, especially the alliances, aren't going to want to build additional lounge space there. And so to make it work financially for us on the square feet, the paid for use would be available to open passengers, but it's mainly going to be agreements that would be done with the airlines or the alliances.
I think that's something that bears additional conversation then. I think we need to make the airport friendlier for everybody who flies through, not just those with the ability to pay. I heard you talk about the children's play areas, but there's nothing sort of concrete in here in terms of an entertainment space or a massage area or anything like that.
No, except that we have a 8,500 square foot area that is similar to the core that we have in Tom Bradley, and we do use that core for entertainment. Sometimes we get rid of the seating and put on shows, and we can do the same thing in midfield because we still have the same kind. It's the same kind of space when you go up the escalator. There's a wide area.
Okay. All right. Well,
but we'll
to be continued.
Yes.
Thank
I
you.
understand.
But I'm fine with the item before us today.
Thank you, Mr. Bond. One last question on the DBEs. Are we requiring a specific amount of DBEs in moving forward with Westfield on the space that will be available?
Yes, we didn't change it, but they have a 25% on food and beverage and 20% on retail that they have to meet. But we have asked them and encouraged them that when they put their packages together, that there are packages that are only for ACDBE and hopefully local operators, not just ABCDs under a prime. We're hoping that we actually bring in local people to run stores.
Sure. Okay. We support. Okay. With that, that objection will approve item 4 before us. And thank you for your presentation. CA, you want to chime in? We're good?
We recommend approval.
Okay, thank you
Yes.
very much. That was like a Tom LaBonge. I always go to the CAO. You're okay with this. You're okay with this. You're okay with this. It's Tom LaBonge. Got to do it for the people, right? Okay, so with that, was our only presentation, our final item. So we are now adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thank you.